G'day, it's Alistair from MapGear with you once again, and today I'm with Zaffar Mohamed-Ghouse from AAM, a Woolpert company. Zaffar, many people know you because you've been quite involved in the industry and are well recognised over the last decade. Thank you for taking some time to talk with us today.
Thanks, it's a pleasure and always a passion to interact with folks and entrepreneurs like yourself to exchange ideas and knowledge and also understand how the technologies that you try to innovate make an impact on citizens and your customers.
Well, thank you. So we've been here today at the South Australian Spatial Information Day, and there's been some really fantastic talks. Are there 2 or 3 things you'd like to share with the audience that you've taken away from today?
I think Spatial Information Day is a very unique event nationally. It brings across all sectors, especially all disciplines such as land information, hydrography, geography, GIS, IT, all under one roof. The dialogue that we see in the SID is very effective in bringing all this cross-discipline collaboration. Particularly the messages that I took from here is especially more collaboration is required at this juncture when space and spatial capacity building is very much required to transform the nation as a critical data infrastructure, but more opportunities are there for positioning, taking advantage of our space investments that's happening in Australia. So that's for next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be really a very booming industry is what I see.
And what do you think are some of the key growth areas and the key changes that we can expect in the industry over this coming decade?
I think it's an opportunity for all. Like when people say data and technology for good, I see spatial digital twins for all. That includes positioning, high definition data, integration of space technology into spatial digital twins, but also spatial digital twins in rural areas, agriculture sector, forest sector. So this is going to have a big impact across the industry. And is the industry ready to take advantage of this disruption is the question that we all have to jointly answer.
And I sense in the rhetorical question that you're asking the industry that maybe there are specific areas that you may hold some reservations about. Are there specific actions that you think the industry need to more proactively consider to prepare us for this next decade of growth?
I think it's not only industry, I think it's a joint effort. As one of the panels that I chaired today, the key message is we require an industry policy to uplift our profession, bringing across and giving equal opportunity to corporate, but also for small to medium enterprises so that we are able to bring that equity to take advantage of these investments, be it space or spatial. I think it's not only the industry role, it's government, academia, and industry working together with one voice from a geospatial sector perspective to take advantage and bring across a unified investment plan in the sector. Because one side I see universities having trouble enrolling students in surveying and institutes are being closed. On the other side, we are struggling for quality surveyors in the industry, age workforce, and this has been always a perennial problem. We need to think differently, and how can we influence the government to invest for the industry growth? And I think spatial is a well-oiled machine. Space sector is being funded by the government, but I think the opportunities here are, especially company like yourself, who really invest time in innovation, doing disruption at your scale, is be able to attract students from the TAFE, from the universities, but also the immigrants that who come to the country, especially with geospatial qualification. How can we train them in order to be part of the workforce is a unique opportunity we have going forward.
And if we can get that process right and grow the diversity and strength of our industry and our capacity to meet the emerging demands of society, what are the benefits that you think we will realise, and what are the costs to society if we don't get this right?
I don't know a value, but the impact, I think already, as again, I draw upon from the panel discussion, Australia's rate in the OECD is very low. And again, the research investments are very poor. If we don't do this, this industry will perish. I think we have to take this as an opportunity with the space investments coming along and spatial being part of that ecosystem and trying to take advantage of the upstream and downstream. Like always, the question is from the surveying position, what does space has to do with us? Space has a lot to do with us because the positioning investment, the PNT, positioning, navigation, and time, is really touches upon the surveyor's day-to-day life with their modernization of their chipset, with the equipments, and be able to provide high-quality positioning services. But I think we should not wait until the satellites are up and then try to utilize. We need to be part of that core design in the value chain of what sort of chipset and instrumentation is required to take advantage of these positioning services. For example, certain nations have a willingness to have 30% of their cars as autonomous cars on the vehicle, on the road. There's also the opportunity to have drone taxis. But how is it going to work without having a reliable course network or GNSS services? So course network and GNSS services and positioning services, with the advent of new technologies from satellite-based processing or SBAS, is going to create a unique platform of abundant data that devices and instrumentation at the ground level, the innovators are able to take advantage and produce some applications that can help transform agriculture sector by providing virtual fence for our cattle for the farmers, be able to use in the good navigation in rural areas, especially when people for tourism. So we can think about enormous application that positioning influence, but we don't talk about them and we limit ourselves to just the surveying side, and we do not articulate the stories and the requirement. If we switch off the GNSS network, what is the impact? We do not speak about it, and that's where I think the geospatial sector has to proactively get involved in the discussion with the space folks rather than waiting that, yes, this will happen and we may take advantage. Sorry, that was a long response.
But it's a very interesting topic. One of the things that you discussed then in terms of highlighting the value and contribution of the space network and the GNSS infrastructure to society is, that rhetorical question, what would happen if we turned it off? Are you at all concerned about the emergence of space junk as a threat to the integrity of our GNSS investments?
It's kind of the balance that we want to strike. Obviously, we in Australia are a very responsible country and one of those nations which spoke about a policy on space debris. I think hopefully the technology and innovations will come on responsible use of space, reusing of the launch and infrastructure, and I think technologies advancement around the solar and other stuff can help bring the life cycle of these space assets in a meaningful way, or recycling, who knows how the disruptions will come across. But I think for Australia as a country, number one priority is to have its sovereign capabilities, indigenous capabilities, because every country would like to have control of its critical assets, and there's no compromise to the homeland security as well as the national asset security. So in that line, dependence on other countries' infrastructure is really a concern. So therefore, that's a national priority and we need to look at it. But it also brings opportunities to bring disruption and applications. I think, again, the startups, when we compare to the other countries in the space and spatial, I think is very slow progress. And this is where I think companies like yourself are role models in order to attract these sort of investments, and also I think strongly encouraged to work with TAFEs and not traditionally also explore the path of the research centers in the university, but also we need the blue collar as well as the white collar technicians as well as the white collar jobs in order to have this ecosystem working.
Excellent. Zaffar, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers in regards to your observations for the growth of the industry over the next decade?
I think this is the golden era for space and spatial. My only message is don't miss this opportunity.
And in that context, any final words of advice for our small and medium enterprises to try and ensure that they are positioned to participate effectively in this era of growth and opportunity?
Yeah, I think our country always tries to support small to medium enterprises. They are part of the ecosystem of the economy. And my message is that SMEs are able to come down with innovation. You don't need to have large investors. Whatever you do, please communicate it well, create a chain of collaboration with other SMEs, and work in a group in order to convey the message and benefits. I think this is about the equity, and I think collaboration is very critical as SMEs, and try to utilize forums such as this in order to communicate the success stories that has made an impact of your services with your clients and society.
Thank you very much, Zaffar. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this conversation. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button below, to subscribe to our video channel, and if you'd like to know more, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. We'll see you next time.